So restaurants are considered essential. Grocery stores are considered essential. According to the Tennessean, essential activities consist of things like grocery shopping and doctor's appointments. But WMC5 News listed golf courses as non-essential. The Times Free Press, however, has actually reported that the health officials are preparing for another surge of cases at the end of the month. So, with that all being said, what really makes a golf course an essential business? Now, for me personally, I've been coming out here and working for 2 years now, and I gotta be honest, the system that we're working with right now is not really something that we need to be doing during a time like this. I would rather be healthy than be playing the sport I love or doing this job. So, with that being said, we got to do these three things, in my opinion, to make sure that this place is a safe environment for the members to come out and forget about the madness. And it's also a safe environment for the employees because sometimes we get a little dirty doing our jobs and we got to make sure that we're as clean as possible. So, if we do these three things, I think that this club will be a perfect place to come out and enjoy life during this disturbing time. So the first thing that we really need to worry about is how we manage the carts out here. And for me personally, I think the best way to handle this situation is that we move to one person per golf cart in a group of in any kind of group. So for example, you have a group of three go out. Well, that means that there would be three golf carts used for that one group. And the reason that we need to do that is because one, it practices social distancing because instead of two people being about within inches of each other, they could be probably 20 to 30 yards away from each other. So that also helps. Another thing it really tackles is the fact that a lot of stuff gets put into a golf cart. Trust me, I would know. I've had to clean it all out. And having people's stuff mixed up could really, really start the spread of germs or whatnot. And so having just one person's stuff in that one golf cart can minimize the spread of germs, and it can also help work on social distancing. So now that we have the golf course taken care of, what about the clubhouse functions? You got to have restaurants and the pro shop functioning while we're out here. So what are we going to do about that? Well, that leads me to idea number two. So now that brings me to the clubhouse functions. And so really, the clubhouse is the most social part of the club. It's where everybody likes to come in, hang out, eat, play poker, do whatever. But right now we can't have that. And so I think that there's three things that we really need to worry about to make sure that the clubhouse remains as functional as the golf course during this crucial time. The first thing that we really need to worry about is how we run as a pro shop. And for me, I personally think that we need to lock both doors, and we also need to make sure that we check people in outside. That would make sure that no one comes in the pro shop, and we limit traffic in and out of the shop, and we make sure that no one's coming in and touching a bunch of stuff because we don't know where they've been. The second thing we need to do is limit access to different rooms of the clubhouse. And for me personally, I think that we need to only let people go into both locker rooms during this time. Obviously, people got to change clothes, use the bathroom, do whatever. And so for me personally, I think that the two rooms that we need to allow people to go into are the locker rooms. The third thing that we need to worry about is the restaurant. Now, I think that the way we can approach the restaurant here is similar to how fast food chains are doing across America, and that's takeout orders. That's the most social part of the club house, is the restaurant. We can't have people going in and out of the restaurant, hanging out, sitting around, drinking beer, do whatever. So for me personally, we got to make sure that all orders are takeout so that we limit the amount of people inside the restaurant and make sure that nothing gets touched or no germs are spread in the restaurant. So now that we've taken pretty much every hangout spot of the members, where are they going to hang out after their rounds exactly? Well, that takes me to number three. So the third and final thing that we need to cover is how the members communicate to each other after rounds. And what I mean by that is members are going to find a way to try to get in groups and talk and socially gather or whatever. But we need to communicate to the members that this is a team game. We all have to do our part to flatten the curve, and flattening the curve is not going to consist of all of us standing in a tight circle talking all the time. We have to make sure that we keep our distance, and we have to make sure that we can still have a good time, but we have to make sure that we stay apart from each other. For example, I was out here one day and I came outside and I saw about a group of 15 people, and they were just standing there talking, and they were not even close to 6 feet apart. They were probably it was like a football huddle almost. And that was way after the stay-at-home order and the CDC recommendations, all that stuff. It's like they were completely oblivious of it. And so I feel like what we need to do, send a message out saying, hey, we got to make sure we all do our part to stop the spread. And if that means we got to not hang out after rounds, then we can't hang out after rounds. But we have to make sure that we keep our distance and not stand in tight circles and talk during or after rounds. And so that's the third thing that we need to do to stop the spread of the virus. So in conclusion, we need to make sure that we limit golf carts to one person. We need to limit clubhouse functions to where we check people in outside. We only allow access to the locker rooms, as well as doing takeout orders for the restaurant. But the most important thing that we need to do, which is going to require a lot more communication between us and the members, is limiting social gatherings after rounds. If we can do those three things, I believe that Oak Ridge Country Club will be a much safer place, and it will also be a great place to come out and enjoy life and to forget about all the madness in the world. And so if we do those three things, anything is possible, and we will make sure all of us are safe here at the club. Thank you.